Some viewers may find this disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hi, my sweet babies. It's Destin Choice, and you're watching Choice TV. I'm going to be enjoying my blueberries and strawberries soaked in anti-pesticide spray. And while I eat this, I really want to talk about Monique.
Hey, my loves. I am asking that you stand with me and boycott Netflix for gender bias and color bias. I was offered a $500,000 deal last week to do a comedy special. However, Amy Schumer was offered $11 million, Chris Rock and Dave Chappelle $20 million. Then Amy Schumer went back and renegotiated $2 more million because she said I shouldn't get what the men are getting, they're legends, however I should get more, and Netflix agreed. When we asked Netflix to explain the difference, why the money was so different, they said, well, we believe that's what Monique will bring. We said, well, what about my resume? They said, we don't go off of resumes. Then we asked them, what was it about Amy Schumer? And they said, well, she sold out Madison Square Garden twice, and she had a big movie over the summer. Is that not Amy Schumer's resume?
In case you already know, she's basically suing Netflix for millions of dollars. Now, before I explain Monique's messy history, Monique posted this on her Instagram basically saying, "Hi, my loves. I can confirm today that I filed a paid discrimination lawsuit against Netflix. Blase, blase. I appreciate all of your support and love. Blase, blase. I'm standing for those who can't stand for themselves and the newcomers." So yeah, basically she's suing Netflix for millions, and I'm going to explain why. Now, if you guys didn't know, about 5 years ago, we all found out that Monique was blackballed in the industry. Now, the reason Monique was blackballed in the industry was because Lee Daniels, the creator of Empire, and the creator of Precious, and the creator of many more things, basically plays a role in blackballing her. Also, Tyler Perry and also Oprah Winfrey have a part in it, especially because they never defended her, and they play a role in down-talking her. Now, long story short, Monique has basically been talking about how she's been underpaid and she's underappreciated. And now, all y'all know who Monique is. We basically grew up on her. We all remember watching her in The Parkers. We all remember watching her in Fat Girls, The Queens of Comedy, so many hits. Like, we all love Monique. And I think it's right to say that Monique is a solidified legend. She has an Emmy, she has an Oscar, and she has a Golden Globe. This woman has really paved the way for herself. But I mean, as time goes on, as the newer generation has to get adjusted to her, she hasn't really done much. I mean, if you were to ask a 12-year-old, do you know who Monique is? They more than likely would say, who the fuck is that? Because that's really what it is. Monique hasn't adjusted to the newer generation. And I'm going to explain that in a little bit. So long story short, Monique has basically killed the 90s, she killed the 2000s, and now she's at a point where she can barely book work. She is booking work, but she isn't getting equal pay as her male counterparts. Now, the reason she's not getting as much pay as her male counterparts is specifically because a few years ago when she was doing the classic movie Precious, she was paid this much money. This is how much she was paid. She was paid $50,000.
This is after the Parkers. This is the success of the Parkers and other things. And Lee Daniels says to me in my dressing room, bitch, I got you $50,000. I really got you paid. And I said to Lee, I say this with all humility. Do you know I make $50,000 in 1 hour of stand-up when I walk on the stage? So I don't want you to think for a second that this is a big payday for me in doing this film. This is me saying, brother, I appreciate you even asking me to do it. But in his mind, $50,000 was a lot of money to pay a black woman. So it's a lot of little things that are being said that we miss. But if you really listen, you understand just how devalued we've always been in this industry.
Since she was paid $50,000 to do Precious, a movie that she later made millions of dollars off of and won an Oscar for, she got blackballed by the production team, and Lee Daniels, Oprah, and Tyler Perry are part of that team. Now, long story short, she made a lot of demands. A lot of these demands included that she was only going to take the money. She was only going to take that little chump change, that $50,000. She wasn't going to promote it. She wasn't going to do interviews, none of that. She requested to be paid. Now, a lot of times, you know, when people do movies, and y'all see too, whenever people are ready to come out with a movie or a project, they do press runs, because that way you spread the word. Now, here's the thing. Monique didn't want to do free interviews, and she felt like she didn't want to do free interviews because she felt like, okay, you want to do free interviews? Pay me, bitch, and then I'll do some free interviews. And basically they weren't trying to pay her. And this has nothing to do with just Lee Daniels. This has a lot to do with Lionsgate. Lionsgate is a really big production company. Tyler Perry, Oprah, they didn't want to pay her. Yes, think about it. Oprah Winfrey, the billionaire, did not want to pay her.
I did all of my contractual obligations and I was done. Then when I start getting calls from Lee Daniels, Tyler Perry, Oprah Winfrey, and Lionsgate, and they wanted me to come work for free. They wanted
do what?
to go over to Cannes and promote this film internationally. And I said to them, I said, guys, my deal is with Lee Daniels, and I've done my job.
So it's a little bit annoying that she's not getting paid what she's worth, considering that she's been a pioneer in this game since the 80s. Monique has been doing stand-up for a very, very long time. Now, here's what's really, really fucked up about all this. Fast forward to now, after Precious came out. Mind you, Precious came out in 2010. In 2015, we found out she was blackballed because she came forth and said she was the one who got offered to play Cookie in Empire. And y'all know Empire is a huge hit. Now it's trash, but back then, you know, when it first came out, it was a huge hit. The first 3 seasons did amazing. And now we know Mrs. Taraji P. Henson got the role. And let's be real, we can't picture anybody playing Cookie other than Taraji P. Henson. You just can't. But she wasn't given the role because Fox felt like, okay, Lee Daniels, we see what you're trying to do, but is this woman difficult? Yeah, we heard she's difficult. We don't want to work with her.
Why Fox didn't want me to play this character because they said you're difficult. And I said, Lee, why would you tell him that? You and I have never had any situations. And then he said, Mama, you've been blackballed. I said, well, why have I been blackballed? He said, because you didn't play the game. And I said, well, what game is that? He never answered, and then he said, well, your husband is outbidding you.
Now here's the thing. Lee Daniels had to break the news to her back in 2014 when he was working on Empire. 2015. Hey, Fox ain't trying to hire you. They feel like you're difficult. And then Monique basically asked him, well, where did they even get that from? And basically, Lee Daniels said that he heard that she was difficult, and then he gave the information to Fox.
Was that I said, we were on the campaign, and she was making unreasonable demands, and you know, and she wasn't thinking. This is when reverse racism, I think, happens. You know, I said, you have to thank the producers of the film. You have to thank the studio, and I think she didn't understand that, and I think that, and I said, listen, people aren't going to respond well if you don't. So I love her, and I've spoken to her, and she's brilliant. And I like working with brilliant people. But sometimes artists get in their own way, and I know I certainly do often. I have my own demons that I get in my own, you know, in front of myself.
So you think she blackballed herself? Because
I
in
think
some
that
ways
this is
you've
what I
got to
think.
do.
I think that there were demands that were made from her on the Precious campaign that everyone knows about that hurt her. And I told her that ball, you got to play ball. This is not just show. It's show business, and you've got to play ball. And you can't scream. I don't like calling the race card. I don't believe in it. Because if I buy into it, then it becomes real. Mm-hmm. If I knew what I knew when I was 21, I wouldn't be where I'm at right now.
But some people call that selling out. You know,
selling out.
Yeah,
I guess I'm a sellout then. Call it what it is. But I'm not going to not work, and I'm not going to not tell my truth, and I'm not going to call people out on their bull. So whatever that means, sell out. Okay. I'll see you in the theaters.
Now, I understand why he did that, considering that, let's be real, if it's my job and somebody says, can I trust this person? Or if my money's on the line and someone asks you, before I waste my money, hey you, can I trust this person that you want me to take on? Of course you're going to have to be honest, because then their job is at stake, the person that you're bringing his job is at stake, and everyone's money's at stake. So of course he had to tell Fox, I heard she's difficult, and Fox didn't want to hire her. They're like, okay, we don't want to deal with a difficult black woman. Monique feels like that's not what started the blackball, because think about it. After Precious, you didn't really see much from Monique. Monique did get a hit talk show because Precious opened a lot of doors for her, and that was basically her breakout role. She hasn't gotten a big movie. She hasn't gotten anything big ever since Precious. Now, it's weird because Precious was her lowest paid movie that she's probably ever gotten. 25 years into the game, hasn't booked anything major since Precious. And mind you, Precious back in 2009. Now, fast forward to 2018. That was back in 2015 where she spoke out about all this, and this was a big controversy. Fast forward to 2018, she decided to hit up Netflix. Netflix hit her up. They want to do a special for her. And you guys know Netflix is really big on comedy specials. Comedy specials are really big. They generate millions of views. They bring in an older audience. Now, Netflix wanted to give her a special, but they said, okay, we'll give you a special, but here's what we're going to give you. They basically offered Monique only $500,000. Now, to y'all, that might be a lot of money, but for someone like Monique, who's been doing it since 1991, who's been in so many classic movies, and they want to give her $500,000, that is atrocious.
We said, well, what about my resume? They said, we don't go off of resumes. Then we asked them, what was it about Amy Schumer? And they said, well, she sold out Madison Square Garden twice, and she had a big movie over the summer. Is that not Amy Schumer's resume? And then Netflix said, by the way, we believe Monique is a legend too. Why shouldn't I get what the legends are getting? Please stand with me in this boycott of Netflix. I love us for real.
Now, it's fucked up because Monique saw it as they're trying to basically downplay me because I'm a woman and because I'm black, which I guess I can see where she's coming from. And then they also told her, well, technically, we like to see what people have done recently, Amy Schumer, because she brought up Amy Schumer. Amy Schumer, in case you guys didn't know, is a piece of unseasoned turkey. She's basically unseasoned ground beef, mayonnaise in a cookie jar, a very mediocre comedian. She's basically the stalest comedian ever. But white people love her. Old people love her. Kids love her. So she's popping. Now, here's the thing with Amy Schumer. She got offered to do a comedy special with Netflix, but Netflix only wanted to give her $10 million, which is 10 times more than what they're giving Monique. But then Amy Schumer came back and said, you know what, I want to renegotiate. I want $2 more million. I know I can't get as much as Dave Chappelle or Eddie Murphy, but I want more. Chris Rock got $40 million, Dave Chappelle got $50 million, and Amy Schumer is getting $12 million, and Ellen is going to do a comedy special soon, and she's getting paid $20 million. So Monique is just like, well, what the fuck? Because let's be real, she's been doing this just as long as Chris Rock. So why is she not getting paid as much? Now, in my opinion, she wants to boycott Netflix, and after she wants to boycott Netflix, the entire internet clowned her ass, because they was like, bitch, I'm not giving her my Netflix, because let's be real. Because some of y'all are going to sit up here and say, oh, that's terrible how she got clowned. Did you delete your Netflix? Would you delete your Netflix for Monique? Because I'm damn sure not going to do that. Charlamagne the God basically gave Monique Donkey of the Day.
My folks. And I have to be Donkey of the Day, which you still haven't explained, Leonard, and you're going to have to. Because when you make those type of statements about your sister to our community, what you're saying to the community is, as black women, you're devalued. And if you stand up and you make a stand and you say, we need equality, and we have to say what's right and what's fair. And then a brother that looks like me from South Carolina says, you're the Donkey of the Day. You have to explain that to our community.
I've explained it. I said that I think that you're using racial and gender bias, which are actual real issues. The struggle that the black woman is going through in many industries is a real issue, but you're using it to focus on something that you're dealing with individually.
Leonard, did you just see Viola Davis come out and say pay her equally? Did you just hear that?
Absolutely.
So when you have us saying the same thing, we're saying pay us equally. You're saying, oh, Monique, this is an isolated situation. Well, then what that says is you don't know the history of this business that you're in. And you sit behind this microphone and you try to be the guru of black culture. I'm going to need you to know the history.
This is my personal opinion. Monique ain't popping. Now, let's be real. If you had to, even if you've never been to a comedy show, who do you think is going to pull in more ticketers? Like, who do you think is going to pull up the more audiences? Someone like Monique or Dave Chappelle? Think about it. Who's going to pull in more audience members? Somebody like Ellen DeGeneres or Monique? Don't worry, bitch. I'll wait. Who do you think is going to pull in numbers? Amy Schumer or Monique? I mean, think about it. Monique hasn't had a big role since 2010. If I were to ask the younger generation, oh, Monique is the lady who was in that After Christmas movie, they'd be like, who? The Fly on the Wall? Like, that's literally how irrelevant Monique is. Now, I love Monique. She definitely is a legend, and I definitely think that she doesn't deserve $500,000. She definitely deserves, in my opinion, at least $10 million. And she did counter offer. She did counter offer and say, oh, Netflix, you think I'm worth that much? Okay, here's a bigger number. Netflix looked at that number and said, oh, no, we don't think you're worth that much, because Netflix claims that they base their things based off analytics. And Monique basically says, well, bitch, look at my resume. But just because you're a legend, and DJ Envy pointed this out in the Breakfast Club, which was a very good point, just because you're a legend, that don't mean that you're worth as much. For example, Snoop Dogg. Snoop Dogg, one of the biggest rappers of the 90s, he really put West Coast music on the map. But do you think in a million years that he would pull in more people inside of an arena to perform than somebody like Drake? Who's gonna pull in the more audience members, Drake or Snoop Dogg? So you see what I'm trying to get? Like, I know a lot of y'all are saying, okay, I get it, you're making your point, but I don't agree. But let's put it this way. Just because Monique is a legend, that doesn't mean that she deserves more money when she won't even bring as much streams. Like, are people really, is this generation, because mind you, it's not just older folks that are watching Netflix, it's the newer generation too. Like, you have to be able to find a demographic within everybody. Someone like Ellen, of course, is going to get more money than Monique. And I don't think it has anything to do with the fact that Ellen is white, but not a lot of people know who Monique is in this generation. I hear you, my love. And let's look at it in this perspective. How would y'all feel if you had a job? If you had a job and it was a new girl. It was a new girl. Everyone loves her, but you've been there for 4 years. But this new girl who's only been here for 9 months gets a raise or gets promoted at a higher level than you, but you've been there longer. She is an OG in this game, and she deserves to get her money. She deserves to get her money's worth. And it's fucked up because it's one of those things where I see it like this. Now, she claims she wasn't difficult. She said that she just made requests, and her requests were, I ain't doing this shit. I want to get paid more money. I'm requesting more money, and if I don't get more money, then I'm going to stay home with my family and not promote this movie. Because mind you, the Precious movie wasn't just in the US, it also played in different countries. So with Monique, it's just like,
there were no demands. There was a request from the movie studio, and they called and requested that I fly to France for the Cannes Film Festival. I simply said I respectfully declined, because if you can remember, at the time there was a talk show called The Monique Show. I was doing a comedy tour. I was actually in the award season of the awards, and I'm also a wife, and I'm a mommy. So when they called, I had a couple days just downtime. I wanted to spend that with my husband and my kids. So when we said we respectfully declined, the movie studio called back again, and they said, okay, well, we'll upgrade her hotel room. And my husband simply said again, we respectfully decline. She's gonna take this time with her family.
Yeah.
Well, when the third call came, and they said, what is it gonna take to get Monique to France, to the Cannes Film Festival? And my husband said, is there a number associated with it? And they said, oh, we would never pay for anyone to do any promotions for a movie. And we said we understood, because what people didn't know was I was paid $50,000 to do the movie Precious. And it really wasn't about the money, and I'm not complaining, because I signed up to do it with my friend.
Yeah. But
So
you're,
when the movie-
you're saying that because you didn't have the money to do this on your own. Is that what you're saying? That you needed to feed your family and pay your bills?
I think that's what America says.
Yeah.
I think we all say, I can't do it for free.
Right.
So when the movie studio says we can't set a precedent and pay you to do this, we didn't have an issue with them.
Okay.
But that's when the reports came that now Monique is being demanding and she's being difficult. They had a request, we simply had a request, and they said they couldn't do it, and we said we understood.
it's different for Monique, I guess, because she might have solidified herself, but she hasn't solidified herself enough to where she could make strong demands, because she is a woman of color, and yes, it happens. They do get paid discriminated. She didn't want to promote the movie. The movie probably could have did better if she went to Germany or went to Canada to promote the movie. But the Precious movie still did good. It still made over $66 million like within a couple of months. Here's where I think Monique got what she asked for. Let's sit up for this. Monique should have never did Precious. She claims that she only did it because she loved it, and she loved the script, and she loved the potential of it. She fell in love with potential, and that's the thing. She was friends with Lee Daniels because she's done work for him before. She's done work for him before, and she's been paid accordingly. This was the first time where Lee Daniels said, okay, you know what? I'm going to do my own thing. I'm going to direct it myself. I'm not going to have a team. This is going to be my thing. Monique, I have a $10 million budget, but I have to pay for locations. I got to pay for this. I got to pay for actors, extra. Because a lot of times when it's time to fund a movie, you have to pay a lot of money. Like, you got to pay extras. You got to pay food caterers. You got to pay for sounds, light. Like, this stuff is expensive. Millions. Because you agreed to fall in love with potential, you got punked in the long run. So in my opinion, Monique got what she asked for. And I know some of y'all might drag me. If you disagree, I'm willing to hear you out. But Monique should have never did that movie. Now let's be real. We can't picture anybody playing Precious Mama. Precious Mama's iconic. But that's how amazing she did. She won an Oscar, and Tyler Perry even told her, like, hey, like, if you promote this movie for free, it'll be good for publicity. They told her it'd be good for publicity for the movie. We can expand the publicity of the movie. But since you're starring in it, we need you to promote. We need you to go overseas to promote. And if you promote it, then, you know, and you win an Oscar, you know, you scratch our back, we scratch yours. This is the best tip I can give y'all. Let's say, for example, let's say y'all are like my friends that I know in real life, and I ask y'all, okay, I'm working on this company. It's a streaming company. It's gonna be bigger than Apple. It's gonna be bigger than Microsoft. It's gonna be huge. And let's say I ask y'all, okay, because I'm on a tight budget of $30 million, I want y'all to work for me, but I want y'all to work for me for $8.50 an hour. Is that okay? I know it's a little bit of money. I know some of y'all gonna say, I can get that shit at Popeyes. I can get that shit working at McDonald's. I can get that shit wiping asses down the block. Like, oh, I can get that shit selling pussy. Like, listen, I know, but it'll be worth your while, because if my company does well, then y'all will get a huge stake in it, and y'all could make like $10 million a year. Some of y'all probably look at me and be like, bitch, bye, and not even want to care, because it's just like, potential, falling in love with my potential doesn't pay your bills. And Monique fell into that. Like, think about it. Like, I know some of y'all gonna say, I'm not doing that, fuck $8.50. I know some of y'all gonna stay. But then again, let's say some of y'all who do stay, are Monique. Y'all stay, y'all help me, y'all work for $8.50 an hour, and I straight up tell y'all, okay, you know what? I know you're working for $8.50 an hour, but I would really appreciate it if you stood outside in the hot sun and you waved flyers around to promote my product, because that'd be really, really cool. You know, if you help me, you can get paid like $10 million if this company works out in the next year. Then at that point, some of y'all probably be like, no, nigga, I already did this shit for shit pay. I mean, you might as well fucking pay me for doing this shit, because I'm already doing the $8.50, and that's shit pay already. Then I'm gonna be like, damn, you want me to pay you? You want me to pay you? I mean, what did Monique expect? So you see where I'm going here? So it's like, for those of y'all who did stay, and I'm asking you to do more shit for free, like work, like wave flyers in the hot sun. Now I'm treating you like shit. Like, now I'm basically looking at you as I'm walking all over you as if you're not. See, what did Monique expect? She decided to work $50,000. $50,000 is nothing for Monique. Monique gets paid that much to do an hour of stand up at a comedy club. That's how much she gets paid to do stand up. That's regular for her. But for a movie, she should have at least been paid $1 million. She lowballed herself, in my opinion. But is it right? She was loyal to people. Yes. She looked out for people. She fell in love with potential. She believed in something. But your check comes first, and she should have put her check first. I know some of y'all gonna say, but that was her friend. Yeah, that was her friend. But I'm sure some of y'all have heard this infamous quote: separate friendship from business. Because if you don't separate friendship from business, you're going to be fucked over in the long run. So Monique got what she was asking for. You should have never agreed to $50K. I know you loved it. I know you, because she knew it was going to be big, because she loved the storyline. Who wouldn't have assumed it would have been big? Because who knows how she did it? Monique would have been bigger than Tiffany Haddish. Monique would have been bigger than Kevin Hart by now. But because she decided to do it for $50K, and she won an Oscar, but mind you, I understand they get what they pay for. She might have made demands, but those same demands that you made put you at liability. For one, you were paid shit money, and they already had no respect for you. But then people talk in the industry. It's one of those things where, okay, forget my language, but this is probably how the production and the industry looked at her. Okay, the big black bitch got an award, but since she got an award, she was kind of angry and aggressive. Should we really give her a chance? Should we really book her? Should we really give her $5 million for this? Nah, let's give her $500K. Because she took $50,000 from them. So, you know what? Since she's difficult and everybody's talking, you know, we might as well give her what we feel like she deserves, because we know she ain't gonna get it anywhere else, and she ain't gonna get a higher number. Monique is doing interviews. She's been doing interviews for years. And all this started over the role of Cookie. Had she got the role for Cookie, none of this would ever happen. People like P. Diddy have literally walked on music video sets and said, don't nobody say shit to me. All y'all stay the fuck over there. I'm on the phone right now. P. Diddy's rude as fuck. But he's also a man. He's also solidified himself in his career to where he can do shit like that. Monique, like Lee Daniels said, should have played the game. And I kind of agree with Lee Daniels. Some of y'all might say, well, my girl Monique ain't gonna sell out. True. But at the same time, when you're not in the position where you run shit, you gotta play the game. In an industry where you have motherfuckers signing your checks. If you have motherfuckers signing your checks, you kind of gotta play the game as an actress, as a musician. You don't have to like be a sellout and suck some ping for some extra ching. You should have respect for yourself from the jump. It might have been a good idea. You might have known it was gonna be big, but look, guess what? This is the straw that broke the camel's back. You sacrificed your respect to do a movie that you believed in for shit pay. And this is the perfect example of stop falling in love with potential. This is the same thing for women who get into relationships with guys who ain't shit. You fell in love with potential. You fell in love with a guy that you thought you could change and make better. And then boom, he ended up fucking you over. No matter how much you cooked for him, how well you treated him, how much your family, his family loved you, he still treated you like shit. Because you been knowing this nigga wasn't shit. You been knew that he was a bum and he was trash and he didn't have his shit together, but you wanted to fall in love with potential. You gotta be able to fall in love with someone or give a chance to somebody who's willing to bring something to the table. Like something stable to the table. You know what I'm saying? Like something that's worth it. Like I can't bring a big ass ham and this person brings fucking Pringles to the table. You know what I'm saying? Monique's, her talent was that ham. And Lee Daniels, he basically gave her a bottle of vodka and some Pringles for the shit pay. But it was worth it because what Lee Daniels offered her turned into her getting an Oscar, which is a huge accomplishment because a lot of women of color, not just black women, but women of color don't get Oscars. That's very, very rare for women of color to get Oscars. And also, to make matters even worse, a lot of people didn't stick up for her. And guess who did stick up for her? Like I said in the beginning of the video, Oprah and Tyler Perry. And please be mindful that when it comes to this industry, I know a lot of y'all gonna say, well, she wanna be a sellout. Some of y'all are in the industry of entertainment, so y'all don't realize it. Or some of y'all don't know anything about the entertainment industry, so don't realize it. When it comes to the entertainment industry, you can't be going around pissing everybody off or disrespecting people. You can't be going around, which even though Monique said she didn't, she was just not willing to do certain things, even though she was willing to work $50,000. You got to be willing to cooperate or compromise, because if you don't cooperate or compromise, then they're just going to find somebody else to fill your spot. Because in this game, you can't just leave early and pick up your shit and go around thinking that you run shit, when in reality, you're looking at them for a check. You're relying on them. Like, you can't do that to people who sign your check. And when you do stuff like that, they're looking for another bitch to replace you as you piss them off. Taraji, at some point in her career, she probably didn't get, she got paid close to nothing for Baby Boy. She took the money, she bought in all her talent, and boom, although she didn't get paid that much, Baby Boy is still the big hit. And not only is Baby Boy such a big hit, it opened doors for Taraji. And because of that, Taraji became a household name. Taraji continued to play the game and deal with the shit payer. And Monique said, oh, I'm not doing that. When it comes to black women are the most disrespected. Shout out to Godfrey, because he's the one who said that. Black women are the most disrespected in society. Because people see it as, you should be glad that we're even allowing you this opportunity. How dare you stand up? Play the game. Because, I mean, you already took the shit pay. Like, you're already too late for that. If you're going to take the shit pay, you might as well do what they tell you to do. You don't have to do everything, but you might as well compromise to what they want you to do. In my opinion, all of this literally could have been avoided. Had she not taken the $50,000, it could have been avoided. I know some people are still going to defend her doing the movie, but you should never did it. And it's fucked up because Tyler Perry, Oprah and those people are sticking up for her. Tyler Perry is huge. Like, he could have made a call and said, hey, you know what? You know, let's hit Monique up. Let's give her what she's worth. Let's put something together with Monique. Let's give her like $5 million because we know she's worth it. Let's put her in a big upcoming project. Lee Daniels, powerful producer, Empire star, big hits. He could have been like, all right, you know what? I fuck with Monique. She's right. Let me apologize. And let me apologize publicly because I should have never said that. Because he claims that he doesn't know where the blackballing thing comes from. But he also said in another interview, she should have played ball. Some people that stuck up for Monique, the only people that stuck up for her was Steve Harvey, and that was it. Everyone else just acted like they didn't see nothing. When Oprah was asked about it, she was just playing Bird Box challenges. She basically was just like, "Oh, I don't address negativity, honey, because you know, negativity and me just don't clash."
Change.
I noticed that too, because you're taking the high road on so many different levels, and people say negative things about you. Trump, Monique is in the media right now. Why do you continue to take the high road? Why don't you address it face?
Oh my gosh, because it's impossible. It's a law that if you meet negative with negative, you will just have a combusted negative force and negative energy. You can't meet negative energy where it is. You have to rise above it. You have to transcend it. You have to be the light. And it only takes a little bit of light to banish the darkness. It takes a lot of darkness to overcome the light.
Making it seem like Monique is this angry black woman. That's what she's making it seem like. But all Monique wants is an apology and explanation. Why are all these companies lowballing me in pay and you guys not sticking up for me? You're supposed to be my friends. I did a movie that was executive produced by Oprah and executive produced by Tyler and created and directed by Lee. See, this is what happens when you mix business with pleasure. She decided to do that. Monique chose to mix business with friendship because she believed in them. But they didn't reciprocate that same energy. Because, in case you didn't know, Monique got into a whole conversation with Tyler Perry in which she leaked the phone call, and this went viral. She leaked the phone call from where she had a whole conversation with Tyler. And Tyler basically admitted on the phone, yeah, you know what? I ain't speak up because I was terrified for the damages that it could have done. Because this can cause a lot of negativity and backlash. That's why I didn't speak up for you.
In all of this. And I don't want you to feel that. I mean, especially for me. I can't speak for anybody else. But for me, I'm not anyone that wants to hurt or offend anybody, especially you. I think you are brilliantly talented. I think you should have a lot more happening since you led a war. I thought for sure that if you had campaigned and won it and played by their rules, what would happen is in the next deal, you would have got more money, millions of dollars, and your career in the film would have been much different. I believe.
Now, can I just address something?
Kick it.
When he says you should, I thought if you played by their rules, I was for sure on the next one.
And Monique leaked that phone conversation about Tyler Perry's consent, and Tyler Perry hasn't addressed it. So he admitted on a phone call, yes, I agree with you, Monique. You're right. You were done wrong. And he can't even do that publicly. He can't even stick up for her publicly. So now he has the media. He has Fox, NBC, like all these big networks who own a lot of these corporations who pay these people and negotiate contracts. She had all them thinking that she's just this crazy, angry black woman, but Monique is right. She is underpaid. And guess what? Did y'all know that Wanda Sykes was also offered to do a Netflix special? Like around, this was when Netflix had first came out, like around 2013. 2013, I believe. This was around like 7 years ago. Yeah, 8 years ago. Basically, Wanda Sykes got offered to do a Netflix special. And someone like Wanda Sykes, y'all know Wanda Sykes. If you don't know Wanda Sykes from Crazy Ex-Girlfriend movie, if you know Wanda Sykes, like we all know who she is. She's funny, Curb Your Enthusiasm, we fuck with Wanda Sykes, but she only got paid, and she, mind you, Wanda Sykes even has a white audience too. Wanda Sykes only got paid $250,000 for a whole Netflix special. Mind you, how these Netflix special works, this is how it works. In order to focus all the attention on that special, you're not allowed to do any special for any other network. So you sign a contract. You can't go out and do specials. You can't go out and do stand-up. You can't do, like, for 6 months straight, you can't do specials. You can't do stand-ups. Netflix likes to have exclusive things so that people can come to them. Because the more exclusive Netflix has, the more people are going to want to come and sign up. Well, Monique wasn't willing to say, okay, I'll take that $500K and I'll kick it with y'all for 6 months. And who knows, has she taken the money like she did with the Precious money, Netflix would have been like, all right, you know what? You proved yourself. You got your numbers. In 2 years, we'll give you $4 million. We'll give you maybe $15 million, $20 million. Had she taken the money, but she should have never took the money for Precious. That fucked her up. She is her own worst enemy, and I feel like Monique isn't taking responsibility for that. Yes, she's right. They're mistreating her, and they're basically not paying her what she's worth because she's a black woman, and because I feel like also because she's not popping right now to this new generation, and I feel like this. She easily could have turned down the money and she could have found a better opportunity. Monique is very talented, but she took the $50,000, but she wouldn't take the $500K that she was just recently offered. I mean, you haven't worked a huge role in the past 7 years. So I don't know what more did she expect. She even supported Tyler Perry because y'all know Tyler Perry gets a lot of shit from the black community. The black community loves Tyler Perry. But then there's others in the black community who don't respect Tyler Perry. Tyler kind of promotes a lot of stereotypes in the black community, like Madea. I know a lot of y'all might not even want to hear this, but Madea is a living stereotype. She's fighting students on the bus. She's punching students. She's whipping out the belt any chance she gets to whip somebody's ass. And let's be real, we all have women in our lives or have had women in our lives who are like that. But promoting this stereotype and putting it in a movie, and mind you, he made the most money being Madea. Madea was his highest grossing ever films. Madea is just his biggest hit, and it's just the fact that he's wearing like black men wearing wigs and these dresses, promoting the dark-skinned crazy grandma stereotype. It kind of sets us back in a way, and it makes white people only want to give black women those kind of roles. And it's crazy because when black women want serious roles, Hollywood is just like, ha ha ha, you stupid black bitch, you will never ever get a serious role because America doesn't take you seriously and you guys are the most disrespectful. That's just how it is. So I think Tyler Perry plays a role in that. And it's crazy because I'm bringing up Tyler Perry because Tyler Perry has always been called out. He's been called out by Charlemagne.
He had a hand in that for colored girls shit. That shit was an African American horror movie, man. Temptations was an African American horror movie. For colored girls was an African American horror movie. I think he had something to do with Precious. That was an African American horror movie. I don't know, man. It's just like Tyler Perry. He paints a very negative portrayal of black men. We ain't that bad. Jesus Christ. Tyler Perry makes us seem like we ain't shit. And it'd be the well-off brothers. It'd be the brothers that be doing something. The brothers be having careers. Like in one movie, the guy was a lawyer. He ended up leaving his wife for another woman. That's the guy that got paralyzed. I think that was Diary of a Mad Black Woman. And then Temptations, I think the dude was like a record mogul or something. It's just like people who got their lives together. It's like, damn, Tyler Perry. He had Michael Ealy hanging the little baby out the window and but Tyler, we ain't that bad. Jesus Christ. He paints us out to be real negative, man. And I just feel I don't know, man. Sometimes I wonder if Tyler Perry is he's on a crusade to make black men look as bad as possible so women don't want us no more so he can have all the men to himself.
And he's even been called out by the legendary, I love Spike Lee. He's been called out by the legendary Spike Lee.
You strive not to do that in what you call prototypes rather than stereotypes. Why are you so critical of that?
Well, number one, I'm a student of cinema. I live and breathe cinema. I've been a professor of film at New York University for the past 15 years at graduate film school where I finished after I finished in Morehouse. I'm artistic director of the school. I know the damage that the dehumanization and the degradation of not just black people, but people of color, women, Native Americans, Hispanics, and all the damage that's been done through the imagery throughout the history of television and movies.
All right.
It's simple.
So I'm going to ask you, do you think you've been critical of Tyler Perry? Do you think Tyler Perry, are you lumping him into that?
I think of everything I need to say about Tyler Perry has been said.
Spike Lee, you know that he's always been woke. Spike Lee was woke before woke was even popular. If you haven't seen any of his films, I recommend you guys check out School Days. School Days is a movie about colorism. He was tapping on colorism and texturism, like good hair versus bad hair in the 80s, way before it was popular. And Spike Lee called him out, and Monique always had Tyler Perry's back. She said, nah, I fuck with Tyler, I fuck with the vision Tyler's doing, I mess with him. Tyler Perry, I fuck with him. And guess what? Did y'all know Tyler Perry didn't invite Monique to his studio? Because in case you guys didn't know, he built a massive studio. I think it was 700 acres, and he invited a lot of people. Like Black Hollywood was there. Like I'm sure a lot of you guys saw the opening. If you didn't see the tour on YouTube, I recommend y'all watch it. It's amazing. And he invited Spike Lee. He actually even named a building after Spike Lee, because a lot of his buildings are named after actors. That's the Spike Lee building. Building A is the Spike Lee building. Building C is the Whoopi Goldberg building. And he didn't invite Monique. He didn't invite Monique, I guess, because he just wasn't happy about her leaking the conversation. He doesn't like the fact that she's upset at him and constantly calling him out and constantly calling him a pussy and all this extra stuff. But he invited Spike Lee, somebody who's called him out for promoting the mammy stereotype of black women, but he won't invite or publicly apologize to Monique.
All of them showed up and showed out, and Monique wasn't there. My invitation must have got lost. I was ready with my pretty things. I had my pretty thing.
He invited Spike Lee, but you're not gonna invite Monique. You're not gonna try to reason with Monique. It makes no sense. Like, so I see and I hear Monique. I hear you, my love. I hear you, my love. Her heart was in the right place, but at the same time, hearts don't pay the fucking bills. I know you fell in love with potential. You might have fell in love with the script, but when it comes to stuff like this, I can't pull up to the light bill company and say, hey, trust me, I'm gonna be rich one day, okay? So trust me, I'm not gonna pay y'all shit. I'll give y'all $2, and I want y'all to trust me that this will open doors for y'all, because eventually when I'm rich, I'll pay y'all double. The light bill company gonna look at me like, bitch, get your big ass out of here. Like, she didn't know her worth. She didn't know her worth. She knew her worth, but she allowed people to not pay her what she was worth. So Monique is the only one responsible for what's going on right now. It's messed up. I feel really horrible for her, and she may never get a really, really big job again. But hey, I mean, ageism is a real thing in the industry. Colorism is a real thing. Sexism is a real thing. And when it comes to how she looks and when it comes to the people she's pissed off, come on now, you pissed off Oprah, Tyler Perry, you've pissed off Lee Daniels, and people have even come forth saying that, oh, you know, she's difficult, she really was difficult on photo shoots, when in reality, she's just a strong, passionate black woman. And when black women are strong and passionate, they're seen as, oh, why are you so hostile? Or why you gotta be so aggressive? And that's just how it is. Because your melanin is too much for them to handle, and you being a woman and having a vagina is too much for them to handle. You should have demanded your respect. You should have demanded higher pay, or you weren't doing it. They could have gave that shit to somebody else. Because I guarantee you, with or without Monique, Precious still would have happened. She made Precious, you know, more than what it is, because she brought that character to life. But hey, business is business, and I hope everyone learns something from Monique's mistake. Because I have sometimes people in my personal life saying, oh hey, Choice, can I get a shout out? Okay, that'll be X amount. Oh yeah, my company is really good though. Like, Choice, you should really like shout out my company. Like, you know, I've known you since so and so and so and so. Or, oh, you know, I know you since the first grade. You gotta pay like everybody else. You gotta pay like everybody else, because the way I'm set up is I can't give you free promo, because if I do, I gotta give it to the next person that's known me as long as you've known me. So that's just how I feel. So it's one of those things where people have to understand your check comes first. Don't ever, 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 ever lower your standards. Whether you're at a job, if you're educated, if someone wants to try you and pay you a low-ass wage, and you know damn well that you don't deserve that low-ass wage, you speak up. Closed mouths don't get fed. Monique did speak up, but she allowed somebody to persuade her into closing her mouth and accepting that little chum change that she got. So that's how I feel. This video is mad controversial. I'm willing to hear y'all opinions. And yeah, that's just my thoughts and opinions about why her career ended. And I really want to see what y'all got to say. Hopefully we can all come to some agreement. I just want to hear what y'all thoughts are. But yeah, do be sure to like, comment, subscribe. Give your thoughts in the comment section down below. And yeah, that's that. Bye. Oh, yeah, you'll change something. I'm a brother, I choke. Brother, man, I stumble. Brother, hiding this year. There's nowhere without you. I choke. When I walk away and I stumble, but I'm gonna hide this here. And nobody without you. Some of y'all don't know that song, and I barely know the dang lyrics. So please be sure to comment if you know the name of that song. That's that, and that's all you get for free.